first bit of advice for anybody is if you are a chef, do not date a chef. So I did it. I dated a chef. I was 2 years out of sobriety, and it was time for me to date again, so I did, and I met a chef. We got together, and a lot of our beginning dating experience was going to barbecue places by taking road trips, and I developed a love for barbecue that I had never had before. I had been to eat barbecue, but never experienced it at that level. So I moved out to Sisterdale, and it's a very small town. I think the population is under 50, and I lived on a ranch out there with my partner, and there was a restaurant down the road that had been closed for like 5 years. And it had seen many genres, so it had been a steakhouse, it had been a barbecue place, catfish, whatever. So one time we decided that we were going to do a pop-up there. We're just going to open for one day. We contacted the owners. They were friends of my partner, and they said, cool. And we had 4 people, 4 chefs, 4 courses. We did like a smoke experience. We did not have barbecue background, so that wasn't really like what we were trying to do, because we weren't trying to be barbecue people. And we sold out like within 2 days. We put a sign on the side of the road with phone number. People called, and we had a full house because we could do 100. We had a full house within just a couple of days. It was pretty exciting to the neighborhood because that restaurant hadn't been open for 5 years, and so people were kind of like pretty excited to see what was going to happen. We'd had our first pop-up, and at the end of the day, the night, we looked at each other and we were like, this is a pretty cool place to work, and we did a good job without having been here, except for this whole week that we were there. Could it be an option for us? Because, we're chefs and we always think about that. Neither of us had a history of background in barbecue. Neither of us had owned a restaurant, so it was kind of a big risk, and we talked about it a lot, but we would drive by and we would look at it, and we'd look at each other, and we would be like, should we? So we made a meeting with the owners of the property, and we said, hey, we want to do another pop-up. They're like, you should just buy the place. And we're like, we don't know. Like, it hasn't been open for a long time. We don't even know what kind of food we do. We don't know. But let's do another pop-up and see what that looks like. And so we started thinking more about it. And then we sat down with them again to make the plans for the next pop-up. And we said, we're thinking about, doing this. So here's what we'd like to offer. And they accepted our offer of a lease purchase kind of opportunity. And so they said, great, let's do this. And we're like all together. And they say, what are you going to do? Because we haven't even thought of a concept yet of what it's going to be. And then we looked at each other and we just said, barbecue. And they were like, you guys have never done barbecue. We're like, how hard could it be? We have a smoker. We have the love. We're chefs, we have recipes. How hard could it be? So we decided to do barbecue, and it was the best decision ever. Blackboard Barbecue, in its current inception now, is still Blackboard Barbecue. It sold to new owners, which is super exciting. But first couple of years, really hard because that it's in the country, like far. It's a road trip. You have to be on a hill country experience. You're not going to just come out there every Saturday because it's an hour and a half from Austin, 2 hours from San Antonio. And we opened, and it was just me and my partner for the first 2 years. And the first year we got named Texas Monthly Top 25 Best New Places to Eat. We also did an experience with the Texas Beef Council where they did we did video and talking about like the barbecue industry. And we invited all the top 25 people. They were in the video with us, and we got to make good friends with some people really quick. And they're people who I love and respect even to this day. And we did well. We did well for a long time. We got named by San Antonio Express. We got named the number 2 brisket, which was a big coup for us because we did not expect for that to happen. That was year 2. And things were good in the restaurant. The restaurant was running well. The customers, the food, everything was going good, but personally, it was not. It was a very toxic relationship. So about year 5, something was said to me one day, and it was another like, oh, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, you're just a woman, like you don't know what you're doing kind of situation. And I just said, okay, this is it, I'm done. And I decided that my mental health was more important than owning a barbecue restaurant. And I walked away that day. And so I gave him 30 days notice. We negotiated a settlement for him to buy me out, and I left Blackboard Barbecue. I moved back to Austin, and it was in 2019, right before COVID hit, and I started another concept with somebody else because I had a little money to burn, and I started a concept with somebody else, and we started Wanderlust Barbecue. Then COVID hit, and then that didn't happen because we could never get off the ground because we just couldn't, like, businesses were open, close, open, close. We could never get a spot to stay at. It was really tough. And so we decided to part ways, and I still had the smoker, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I'm over at my friend at Roll & Smoke. Kyle's teaching me how to use a traditional smoker. I'd only used an oiler in my barbecue experience, so I didn't know how to use a traditional smoker. And I'm learning how to start a fire. I'm learning how to keep the fire going. I'm learning how to trim brisket. And one day some guys that had done a podcast from Tales from the Pits came out to visit, and I was in the trailer with Kyle, and they said, hey, we're gonna come visit you at Wanderlust. And I was like, it's not happening because we closed. And he said, what do you want to do? And out of just, like nowhere, I just said, oh, I just want to find a girl. I'm sick of working with guys, even though I was working with Kyle. So, but that was different. So I just want to work with a girl who's hungry, who has experience in the barbecue business, who's young, who's passionate, who's driven. I just want to gift her my smoker, like not gift it, but like be an investor, like, or help mentor, or like be a partner, whatever it looks like. But I don't know anybody like that. And they said, oh, you should, get in touch with Barbecue Rat. And so if y'all don't know who Barbecue Rat is, that's Chuck Charnachart, who's the current owner of Barbs B Q. So I reached out to her. I don't know her. She doesn't know me. And I just tell her, I have a smoker. I have some money. Like, I know you want to move back to Austin. Let's see if we could do something together. She waited about 3 days and reached out to me and said, yeah, I heard you're legit, so let's meet up. And I met with her and Johnny from Goldie's for the first time, and immediately me and Chuck made a connection, and we talked about like what happens next, what does it look like? No plans at all, except for just to like kind of just keep things rolling and see what happens. Did a few pop-ups, and then a year and a half later, Chuck was adamant about getting into Lockhart. She wanted to be in Lockhart. So a year and a half later, we're in Lockhart and opening up Barbs B Q. So that's how this ends.